Hey there team, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to my overview of Dead Island 2. So when I do an overview, it's just a look at the first 2 hours of the game. It's a short, punchy, under 10-minute video to give you the broad strokes of if a game's kind of worth it or not at the beginning. Steam seems to think that you can make up your mind about whether you want to keep a game in the first 2 hours or not, and I kind of agree. I doubt you're really going to change your mind after 20 hours if you weren't sold on the first 2 hours. It also allows me to apply a bit of a soft triage as to what I will and won't review going forward. Who has the hours? So I got a few things to talk about with this. Straight out of the gate, I actually really like this. However, there's aspects to it, there's angles. So let me sort of expound a little bit. This game did come out on Epic, and I played the Epic build, which presumably is exactly the same. I'm playing it on Steam now that it's come across, so the game's already been out for like a year or two or something like that. And like I said, no denying I'm enjoying it, and there is actually a fair to decent chance that I play through this in its entirety because something about it really has its claws in me. The game is an enigma because the core gameplay loop, the experience, is actually brilliant. It's kind of a systems-based, first-person melee game. So we're not talking about killing billions of zombies. It's more, once you start taking on a bigger group, it becomes a bit unmanageable. Very much has that DNA of its predecessors, which I would say include both Dead Island and things like Dying Light. But again, very much in the vein of Dead Island, very systems-based, right? There's a lot of elements and interacting with environment, like alarm systems that you can trip, and that you have to like destroy maglocks and things like that, fuse boxes that generate electricity, water that sprays out, and fire that you can put out with a jerry can. So there is this sort of elemental, almost immersive sim interplay with these peripheral components, and it actually adds a lot of depth to the combat and the interplay. And again, the combat is really fun, and a lot of it is inherited from Dead Island. Dare I say, it's what you would probably expect from a sequel to Dead Island. So a lot of like kicking for stuns, headshots, charge shots, trying to control mobs, like knock dudes down and then, fight the other guys that are standing up. The dodge system works really well. Blocks, geez, I don't really block. I think that might be character specific, I'm not sure. I'm playing as British Lenny Kravitz this time around, though I tried a couple of the other characters in the first go. But yeah, look, I thought I'd just get that out of the way. The gameplay loop is actually really, it's mint. It is top tier and it will keep you going. And I might even get a multiplayer session going because I know some guys on my friends list are playing it as well. And the environments, it is set in sort of hell A, as it's saying. And it is actually a really clever setting that you are sort of crashed in your Hollywood Hills equivalent, right? And it's lifestyles of the rich and famous. And so it gives a chance for kind of environmental commentary, like mockery, I guess, going through, like I went through a YouTuber pad, and that's clearly a bit of a stab at like streamers and all that sort of stuff, and you can see in the environmental design, it's actually really intricate and detailed, and even if it's not taking the piss and you're just going to some rich dude's mansion, the detail in all the safe rooms, or even someone's garage with spare bloody DVD collections in boxes, like, it's so cool. And I find that really immersive. So Scarlet, the other shoe's going to drop. Yeah, it is. This game might have issues. All the characters in this game are insufferable. However, as I said, enigma is the word here, because I cannot figure out if this game is outrageously based and it's poking fun at all these losers, or if they are inside of their bubble so deep that they think that this thing is sort of edgy and cool when it's in fact cringe. And generally speaking, I'm enjoying laughing at all of the characters, all of the writing in the world, right? I guess what really matters is I'm having fun, but potentially laughing at people that think that this is the coolest thing that they've ever made, when in fact it's just a pack of how many sad fucking characters for BlackRock money can you jam into a game. In fact, now that I think about it, if I were to make a game in current year, I would probably make it just like this, right? I'd tick all the BlackRock boxes to get that sweet money, and then I'd just still make a base game on top of it. Ticking the boxes doesn't necessarily mean you have to stick the landing and stick with it. Examples being in the opening scene, you've got your tattered up bloody minority Takeshi 69 stand-in. You've got a bloody chick with one of those bung running legs, but she's an athlete as well, and they comment on it immediately. Oh, you ran 20 miles. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, well, we've got the disabled box ticked. You've got this bloody, I think she's Irish, rockabilly fat chick with pimples tattooed from head to toe. You've got Lenny Kravitz stand-in, who's my dude. There is a white male, but I believe he's a stripper and has all sorts of insecurities. Even in the character select screen, he's cowering. Like, oh, and don't forget the gigantic, enormous Abby Last of Us MMA boxer. Like, it's actually hilarious how on the nose it is. And like I said, there is only two explanations, and I don't think there's any room in between. One, it's people that live in reality just taking the piss out of the people that think this is cool. Or it's psychopaths that legitimately think this is cool. But either way, have a laugh, get it, play the game. It's actually really, really fun. I will say a little bit of background, right? It's Dambuster Studios, which from what I understand, they've done this. There's DLCs included and all that, but it's still early days for me to really comment on that, so bear with me. If a review comes forward, we'll probably cover off on that. But we've got Dambuster Studios. They helped on Chorus, which was made by Deep Silver's other internal studio, Fish Labs, or one of their other studios, Fish Labs, which is fascinating because Chorus, really fun game to play. Insufferable main character with mental issues, feeling sorry for herself, constant dialogue about how she doubts herself and her feelings, and it's actually too much, right? So if we're talking like Goldilocks or on a sliding scale, where Dead Island, it's actually hilariously bad, Chorus, it still takes itself too seriously, that the main character kind of wrecks what is a fun game to play. So that's just fascinating, because then you go all the way up the other end of the scale. The third studio that Deep Silver has internal is Volition. Most notably did the Saints Row game recently, which basically torched that entire franchise by being so woke it was just insufferable. So it feels kind of like three choices for Goldilocks on the sliding scale. How much woke can you suffer and still have a fun game? And the truth is, Dambusters seems to have got the balance right, but I feel like maybe inadvertently. They may even honestly be more woke than Volition, but they've pushed it so far off that fucking scale that it's now hilarious satire without realizing it. Anyway, also, I guess, parent company Deep Silver still publishes third-party stuff like Kingdom Come Deliverance and the forthcoming Kingdom Come 2, which I wouldn't necessarily say is base, but it's just sort of stood their ground against outrage and all that sort of bullshit. But you can look it up. So it's very hard to get a read on whether they've made this kind of gem commentating on modern losers with brilliant gameplay and a lot of fun. I can't tell, but the truth is I'm enjoying it immensely. Anyway, look, I don't want to waffle any further than that. Game's really good. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's worth your time, worth your money so far. I believe being that it's coming across the Steam and it's not exactly a brand new release, it's like on a deep sale. So if you were going to pick it up, it'd probably be now or in 6 months when it's 80% off. You know how it is. Anyway, team, might just leave it there for the time being. I'll catch you guys on the next one.